I'm Captain Kevin Murray from the Bedford Fire Department, and welcome to Captain's Corner. Today we're at the Manchester Country Club for the annual Bedford Firemen's Ball, a tradition for many years here in the town of Bedford. And tonight we're going to talk about the Bedford Honor Guard, Bedford Firefighters Association, and the Bedford Firemen's Ball, and how it all got started. My first guest today is Tom Green, the president of the Bedford Firefighters Association. Tom, I want to thank you for coming to the ball again. Obviously, you're here for a special reason. Can you tell us a little bit about the Bedford Firefighters Association, how it ties into the Bedford Firemen's Ball?
The Bedford Firefighters Association has been around to support the fire department in a number of ways. One is we are able to do some fundraising to purchase equipment that usually doesn't get into the budget but is necessary to help us with safety of the community. We're able to buy the equipment, the jaws for the apparatus. We're able to buy some equipment for the ambulance, things that make our job safer and make the community safer. We also fund the Norman Richards Scholarship since 1972. Norman Richards was a call firefighter in Bedford and was tragically killed in a plane crash in Boston. His widow was able to set up and establish a scholarship, which we've been able to maintain over the years, and we've been fortunate. We've given out over $100,000 in scholarships to graduating students from Bedford over the years.
So how many years has the Bedford Firemen's Association been around, and who actually started it?
Well, it's actually officially started back when the fire department merged into the municipal department. Chief Wiggin, Ralph Wiggin, who's recently passed on, he was instrumental in establishing the Firemen's Association for Bedford. We've been around for a lot of years doing the fundraising.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the fundraising itself. How does the fire department raise funds, and once they get donations, where does that money go to? Do you have some examples of some of the big ticket items that have been purchased through the association and funds?
Well, recently we've done, for fundraising efforts, we've done our toll booth at Walmart. We do that one day a year, which we stand in front of the entrance to Walmart and ask people to fill the booth. The other donation is our Firemen's Ball, like we have here. We raise funds through the sale of tickets, and we invite the community, invite the public to participate. It's not only for members of the fire department, but it's also for the community. Some of the things that we've purchased through the association is our, as I said before, our rescue tool, which helps us extricate victims from car crashes. We recently were able to help purchase a automatic defibrillator for the fire department. That's a tough one to say. We're able to purchase a Lucas chest compression system, which has been instrumental in saving 2 persons' lives recently in town. Helps us with CPR in the back of the ambulance. Those are some of the big ticket items. A rescue tool could cost $10,000. A defibrillator can cost $20,000, $25,000.
Okay, I also know that the Bedford Firefighters Association has a scholarship fund. Can you talk a little bit about that, where that money goes to?
Well, the scholarship fund, as I said earlier, was established for graduating Bedford High School seniors. That money we've been able to give out $1,000 scholarships. Last year we gave out 4 $1,000 scholarships. It is open to any student who's graduating that lives in the town of Bedford.
So it's not just for fire department personnel, it's everybody submits it like a regular scholarship, and then it's awarded around this time frame?
That's correct. If you go to our website, it's bedfordfirenh.org. We have a scholarship established that's opened up from March to April. It's opened up for scholarships for a student to put in an application, and also firefighters' children are eligible for that as well.
Okay. I get a lot of calls during the daytime at the Bedford Fire Department about making donations to the fire department. There are a lot of solicitors out there that call some of the residents in town and asking for funds, police department, fire department, other entities. How does a Bedford resident know that anybody that's soliciting funds for the fire department, it's a real deal, that it's the fire department, or could be a scam out there? What would you tell a resident to do if they're asked to donate to the fire department?
Well, first thing is the Bedford Firefighters Association does no telephone solicitations at all. The only solicitations that we do is we also do our treasurer Dick Pollock sends out letters to our companies in the community, our industries and mercantile operations that we do send out some donation requests by letter, but we do nothing on phone calls. If someone would like to donate, they can write a check to the Bedford Firefighters Association. If they'd like to have it established to go to scholarship or for a particular piece of equipment or just for our rescue or our relief fund, we can put it specifically for those.
Okay, so occasionally we'll have a specialty fund that we're trying to establish for, like the defibrillators that we raise. Is there one right now that you're trying to raise? Any specialty fund we're trying to raise right now?
Well, actually, we're standing in front of our Sanford. Our fire engine's been in town since it was new, and years ago it was actually involved in a fire in town center, and we'd like to actually refurbish it, get a new paint job on it, and put it back to the way it was originally. That'll be a fund that we're going to be establishing very shortly.
Okay, one of the many other things that the Bedford Firefighters Association sponsors is the Bedford Honor Guard. We're very proud of them in the things that they establish for us in town, not just at events like this. Very shortly we're going to be talking with a couple members of the Honor Guard. Can you just give me a ballpark figure what it costs to initially start up that Honor Guard and what the annual cost is to keep it running, so the people can understand what those funds are used for?
Well, shortly after September 11, we were all feeling the pain of a tragic loss in the United States, and one of our members, Rick McLaughlin, had it in his mind to help us establish our Honor Guard. We did that 100% through the Firemen's Association. That initial cost was $12,000 for us to outfit uniforms, flags, everything that we needed to represent the Honor Guard and represent the town properly. All told, probably about a $14,000 investment in the Honor Guard. We've established that. We participate in pre-Memorial Day Parade. Here tonight we're going to be doing the Honor Guard event. We go, members have traveled down to Emmitsburg to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, the State Firemen's Memorial we participate in. So if there is a funeral or an event, we will go to those as well.
So all of these donations that somebody makes to the department, who makes the decision as to how you're going to spend your money? And is there a legal aspect to this?
Well, all the donations come into the Bedford Firefighters Association. We have a board of directors who assists also with the department. Every firefighter in the department is also a member of the association. So we have to vote with our quorum on how we're going to spend the money. So it's not up to any one individual. It's done as a board of directors. And we have had citizens in the community donate money specifically earmarked to a particular item. It might be a defibrillator, it might be a chainsaw. The Men's Club and other organizations has helped us out in purchasing saws, vent saws, and other items, and also for the Honor Guard establishment.
Okay, well, let's go take a look at some of the things that the Honor Guard does, and maybe we'll talk to a few of the members that come here tonight.
Great. One thing I also wanted to point out is fire prevention every year that we do in October. The Firefighters Association supports that and has supported over the years 100%, where all the funds come right to the Firefighters Association for fire prevention, and we buy the red hats for the kids and the other things that we do throughout the year, the pencils and rulers and coloring books. Everything is supported through the Firefighters Association.
That's a good point. I forgot to bring that up. That's one of my additional duties here at Bedford Fire. Is we go into every school in the town of Bedford, kindergarten, first and second grade, and we during Fire Prevention Week, and for each classroom we give them something that talks about fire prevention, and we're really lucky to have those funds, because it's up around $3,000 right now that we give away those things in the school, so we appreciate that too.
Absolutely no, because we ran out of fire hats recently, and we have to make the purchase for fire hats, and it's a big commitment for the Firefighters Association to make even just what may seem like a small incidental thing, but every kid loves to have those little hats, and of course the prices are going up, but that's what we do the fundraising for. That's why we're here, and that's what we do, and we help support our community.
Okay, Tom, thanks for coming. Have a great time tonight, and let's go see if we can talk to a few Honor Guard members.
Thanks for being here.
My next guest is Eric Thomas, the commander of the Bedford Fire Department Honor Guard. Eric, first of all, thank you for coming to the Bedford Firemen's Ball. I know you come every year that this is honored here. Can we talk a little bit about the Bedford Honor Guard? First of all, just educate the public the difference between a firefighter and the Bedford Honor Guard and how it got started.
Well, obviously the Honor Guard is made up of all of Bedford firefighters. So these guys that are in the honor guard do it out of their own time. We don't get paid to do these details or anything like that. This is something that we do out of a sense of pride for what the firefighting stands for and the quote unquote brotherhood that we do.
Okay, so I notice we're wearing a different set of uniforms. What's the significance to your uniform to mine?
Well, when we initially started the honor guard, we decided to just change the uniform slightly, so we have a single-breasted jacket versus the double-breasted ones. We wear a belt. We have some other accoutrement as well as a hat. We usually wear white gloves just to sort of set us apart from your standard firefighter Class A. So,
okay, if I were to think of a standard honor guard, maybe people might think of a parade where someone's out front carrying a flag. What are some of the duties of the Bedford Honor Guard, and where are they asked to be used?
Well, we do a variety of different things in the community. We march in parades, first and foremost, but a lot of the stuff that we do have to do, unfortunately, with funerals. Folks that serve in the fire department, in fire departments around the world, really, if there's a line of duty death, we can come in and help that community with the logistics of planning the funeral. We do a lot of training with regard to moving caskets and the pomp and circumstance that's surrounding funerals and what needs to happen and what's supposed to happen for a line of duty death.
Okay, can the general public request an honor guard at their family member's funeral or a wedding, or what are some of the stipulations for you as a commander saying, okay, let's help this person out with an honor guard?
Usually it's kind of reserved for folks that have had service in the fire department, in a fire department. Not necessarily Bedford's. We'll do any fire department in the state or the nation, really. So usually that's kind of a prerequisite for us to do. We don't necessarily go do weddings or things of that nature. But
okay, I understand you also travel down to Washington, D.C. or New York City for some ceremonies to help out with them. What were some of those things that you did?
We do one thing that I do every year is I go to Emmitsburg, Maryland, to the National Fire Academy, and I raise and fold flags. There's a ceremony in October that honors all of the fallen line of duty death fallen firefighters from the previous year. So we fly each flag ceremonially over the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial at the National Fire Academy, and then fold them, and those flags are then given to the families in October during the memorial.
Okay, so currently we have approximately about 35 members on the Bedford Fire Department. Can anybody join the Honor Guard, and how do you get chosen to be on the Honor Guard?
Anybody can join that's on the department that wants to be. We're a combination of call members as well as full-time. The only prerequisite is that you're on the fire department, really. We have some retired guys as well. There was originally 12 members that founded. I believe we're at 11 right now. The founding members all have the American flag pin, and then we have some newer guys that don't have that pin. But it's open to anybody that wants to join up.
Okay, I've participated in a few funerals over the years, and some of them are very memorable to me and always will be special as part of the brotherhood, as we call. Mm-hmm. What is one special honor guard moment that you had that you can recall?
Probably the biggest thing for me, I mean, obviously all of the funerals that we've participated in, I remember and have left a mark, but the thing that I'm most proud of is going to Emmitsburg every year and flying those flags. It's a big honor for me to be part of I'm part of the team that helps make sure that they're folded correctly and that things are done in the appropriate manner. So I get to go every year, and they have honor guards that come in from around the country every year. Each year it's a different part of the country where they come in, and I'm part of the team that gets to evaluate to make sure that they've done things correctly, and so it's kind of a big honor for me to be able to do that.
Eric, one of the biggest funerals that I can remember that I participated in the honor guard was front and center was Ralph Wiggin, fire chief for over 50 years for the town of Bedford. That day, I'll never forget it because we really represented the family in our best light that we could. What memories do you have of that honor guard ceremony for that.
Yeah, that was a really big day for us too, and we did a lot of planning and had a lot of involvement in the whole process, and it was pretty elaborate, and there was a lot of different steps and things that we had to coordinate, as well as other honor guard members from other towns that came in and things like that, and it really was a great day, and I thought we did a really good job and had a fitting tribute for Ralph, who had so many years of service and was such he was Mr. Bedford, so it was a real honor for me to be there and for us to be able to honor him in that way.
And then shortly after that, retired Captain Don Folsoms. So we had a pretty rough month there, but I really appreciate what the Honor Guard did for the fire department in their memory and for the town of Bedford. You represented everyone well. Okay, so being the commander, what's your biggest challenge in coordinating and running this? And is there anything that you'd like to tell the public that they should know?
Probably the biggest challenge is like with any organization, is getting people to come and participate. Out of any organization, there's folks that go every time, and there's folks that don't go a whole lot. So that's probably the biggest challenge. Most of these guys are pretty good, and they want to help, and usually funerals, I have an overwhelming response from the guys for that, so it's good.
Okay, so if the general public wants to know if the Bedford Honor Guard will come to their function, all you have to do is call us at the station and we'll hook you up with Eric. So thank you for coming today and enjoy the ball.
Thanks, Captain.
This is one of our events here at the fire department we look forward to because it's all our members, and we actually have the public come out. So thanks again. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
Thank you.
We could pause for a moment of silence for our fallen brothers and sisters in the fire service and in our military who put themselves in the harm's way every day for our freedoms.
My next guest is Deputy Fire Chief Mark Close from the Bedford Fire Department. Mark is the current commander of the Granite State Fire Service Support Team.
Yep.
And Mark, can you tell us a little bit how that service support team ties in with the Bedford Honor Guard and the Firefighters Association?
Sure. What happens is, in the time of a need of a fire department, what happens is when we suffer our line of duty of a firefighter, I usually receive a phone call from the State Fire Marshal's office going to assist that department. And as we do the funeral planning for the services for that fallen firefighter, honor guards play a vital role in that, in honoring that firefighter. So usually the Bedford Fire Department is the first ones to be called. We have two of the commanders, Rick McLaughlin and Eric Thomas, that I usually deploy them to that fire department that has suffered the loss. And they go in and they teach that fire department the honor guard roles. Sometimes that's casket watch, that is the opening and closing of the doors at the funeral home, and marching. A lot of people, a lot of time firefighters, that's not our typical duties. So these firefighters go in and assist them with that and teach them how to do it for that day of the funeral services.
So when the general public sees on the news rows and rows of firefighters marching to a funeral, that's part of that Granite State Fire Service Support Team?
Yes, absolutely. What it is that it's divided up into divisions, and one of the divisions is planning, where we actually go in and assist in planning the whole funeral services. The other part is honor guard services, and that's where we have honor guard commanders from around the state that go in and they teach the guys how to march, how to stand, when to salute, when not to salute.
Okay, one of our shining moments, and I say ours with the Bedford Fire Department, was the recent passing of Fire Chief Ralph Wiggin and then Captain Don Folsom. It was a tragedy, not a tragedy, well, it was a tragedy, but it was just, it was a point in our fire department that the Honor Guard stepped up, and you were a vital part of that. And I remember things were put together, and we wondered, how did you learn how to do that? How did you get the knowledge to put a fire department service, funeral service together?
Well, I think one of it is that, you know, enough of, for us who have been in the fire service for over 15 years, have been to enough funerals around the state, around New England, and even New York. Obviously, after 9/11, a bunch of us went down for funerals, and you know, I personally attended over 30 funerals for New York City Fire Department. And you take in what you see, you bring that back to your own department, and then you just put it down on paper. So when, you know, Chief Wiggin passed away, and Captain Don Folsom and Kenny Jenkins, we already had a lot of that stuff, so we just took it and implemented it into a plan. So, you know, a lot of it is on-the-job experience. Also, most of the Honor Guard commanders around the state have been to the National Honor Guard Commanders Association Honor Guard Academy that was sponsored by the New Hampshire Fire Academy in Concord. That program, once again, is coming back to New Hampshire in October of this year, so we're going to send more people to that program, which is an unbelievable program for people who want to get into the Honor Guard system.
Okay, we talked with Tom Green and Eric Thomas, and we talked about donations. Do you accept donations for the Grand Estate Fire Service support team as well?
We do, and one of the things that we ask, we have a full trailer with all the equipment necessary to run a funeral anywhere in the state, from Salem to Pittsburgh. If a fire department borrows the trailer and they use the disposables, white gloves, mourning badges, and other, you know, incidentals like that, we ask them to make a donation back to the team so we can purchase them to replenish the trailer. If they buy something that they want to donate, I can tell you that the town of Groveton had a firefighter that passed away up there, and they built a ramp system to put the casket on the fire truck. They donated that back to the team. So, you know, those are the things that we do.
And we house that at the Bedford Fire Department.
Yeah, affirmative. With the Granite State Fire Service support team trailer is stationed right at the Bedford Fire Department on Constitution Drive. And then what happens is that any fire department that needs it, they call, and then we deploy it anywhere in the state. I can tell you, back in 2008, the trailer was actually in South Portland, Maine, working on a line of duty death for a South Portland, Maine firefighter. And not 2 days later, it was in Bennington, Vermont, you know, doing another line of duty death.
Okay. I also talked with Tom Green and Eric Thomas about, we all have special events that we remember, funerals, sudden deaths. Is there one service that you went to that will always stick with you, and why?
Well, I think after 9/11, going to New York City and going to all those funerals, it was you know, unbelievable, and seeing all the firefighters from around the country. And you know, that's where my passion for this really began. You know, and I can remember that Amtrak train system loaded all the firefighters for free on the train from Boston to New York City, and without a charge, because we were going down there and support the city of New York. So that's one of the things I remember. And obviously, as you just mentioned, you know, the service for Ralph Wiggin, as you know, Ralph hired you and Ralph hired me, you know, so that was a true honor to finish his career, so to speak, in planning and performing that service, you know, last year.
Well, Mark, we want to tell you our appreciation for all the work that you do behind the scenes, and when there is an event here, when somebody calls us at the Bedford Fire Department, your name comes up, and there's a reason for that, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Our next guest is Fire Chief Scott Wiggin from the Bedford Fire Department. We all know that, Chief. I want to thank you again for hosting this event. This is one of the fire department's, I guess we call our finest nights out. Can you talk a little bit about the Bedford Firemen's Ball? And I know you have some history of how it started, where it's transitioned over the years, and what does this mean to you to have your fire department members come out each night when we host the ball?
as indicated, it's been over 70 years. I think it's 73rd year this year. And I recall back in the 70s, 1970, 71, when it used to be down at the Bedford Grove. It used to be a big ballroom dance hall. It's right at the Manchester-Bedford line. And that used to have a facility there. It used to hold up like 1,200, 1,300 people. And it used to have some of the big band names playing there and some of the more ballroom type dancing at that time.
Now, where did it transition from there?
And after, I believe it was after the fire, that the facility obviously was destroyed, and it transitioned over to McKelvey School. And at that time, the facility wasn't quite big enough to use just the cafeteria, so they actually used the gymnasium and the cafeteria and had two bands, one in each facility. And that was, again, that was when we get to 1,100, 1,200 people that used to come. And since then, it was held at the McKelvey School, and it got reduced in size to having more or less just the gymnasium. And then it got a little more informal, and it kind of was like a leisure type dress,
So right now we see all the firefighters dressed in their, we call them Class A uniforms, and I think at the highest moment here at the country club we were up to 250. Over the years the attendance has dropped. Do you have any idea why attendance has been dropping over the years?
I'm not really sure if you could really point to one thing, but maybe it's a combination of things. People's lifestyles are so active nowadays. There's so much stuff to do at home when it comes down to, staying home with videos. And I'm not sure if there's much of outdoor dancing as it used to be, and, especially the ballroom venue type of dancing. So that, I think, is one element of it. But the population in Bedford, it's growing and growing, and there's different cultures that might not be as homely as Bedford used to be, when you used to know your neighbors and be more informal to your adjacent property owners and things like that. But now it's growing, and it is a different culture, a different population base.
Okay, so we've talked to a few of our Honor Guard members, a few of our association members, how this all transitions back to the Bedford Firefighter Association, and the ball tonight basically is the fire department's way of honoring themselves and getting together so we get to meet the families. What does the fireman's ball, firefighter's ball, mean to you as the fire chief for the town of Bedford?
It pays respect to the members that are currently on the organization, with the organization, and definitely reflects upon the past members of the organizations. It also, it's a good venue to mix our organization into the public. The general public is welcome. They sell tickets out to it, and we also go after the business base in Bedford to encourage them to purchase tickets, and either to pass the tickets out to their agency, people that they're employed with, or the ability just to have a donation. So, as it is a fundraiser. It's designed for the scholarship, and it's designed to help the rescue fund, and so it does go back to the community.
Okay. One of the other questions that I asked all of our guests tonight was, we've all been involved with some tragic losses within our own fire department, members that have passed away, and one of the greatest honors that I can sit here and say is about Ralph Wiggins' funeral and Captain Don Folsom's funeral shortly after that. Do you have any special moment that you're proud of the Honor Guard or the Firefighters Association that they stepped up?
Well, I think as the organization goes, the Honor Guard shows the respect to all families and all members of the organization. It's not necessary to be a chief, as Kenny Jenkins was a firefighter, and they assisted in his services too. So it's just being there for the organization, being there for the family, and being there for our family, brothers and sisters of the fire service. So that has a very important element to it.
So how many years total, Chief, have you been associated with the Bedford Fire Department?
Probably right around the vicinity of 42 right now.
42, and I'm coming up on my 23rd or 24th year, and I'm very proud of this department, very proud of all the members when they have to step up, and if we just look around at the pride that's out here by wearing the town of Bedford patch. It's a good time to be part of the Bedford Fire Department.
Without a doubt, we have a good organization, dedicated people. This is through the association, which is, above and beyond responsibility or a duty as a full or a call-time firefighter. This doesn't draw lines between one organization or the other. It's the loyalty, it's the commitment, it's the camaraderie, and those are the things that maintain and bring an organization together for the support of us in need and also as an organization.
Okay, well, hope you enjoy yourself tonight, and just like everything else goes, we'll be waiting for you to do the first 2 steps so we all can get out there.
Well, I don't know about 2 steps. We'll try it.
Okay.
All right.
We're here with Art and Natalie at the Firemen's Ball, and we wanted to spend a little time with the people that come to visit us at the Firemen's Ball. And Art, I understand you've been coming to the Firemen's Ball for a long time?
Probably 15 years, maybe longer.
Years, really?
Yeah.
And Natalie, how long have you been coming?
I've been in the picture about 5 years.
About 5 years. So one of the questions that we ask is a lot of people assume that the Firemen's Ball is just about firemen, but as we look around the room here today, there's people like you that come to and have a good night out, but why do you actually keep coming back, Art?
Well, good friends and good food, and it's a great time.
And Natalie?
And he told me if we didn't go to the ball and we had a fire, well, they wouldn't come and put it out. So we have to go to the ball.
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that that's true, but we really would like to see more people come out and keep this tradition going for a long time. Now, the food is great,
Excellent.
and there's a little bit of dancing, and you get to socialize with some of your people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's right.
And tonight we're sitting with the chief.
You got to sit with Chief Wiggin tonight?
Yeah.
Yes. It took us a long time to work up to this spot.
So how many Fireman's Balls tickets did you have to buy to get that?
Well, we just worked our way up somehow or other. We didn't have to bribe anybody.
Well, thank you for coming, and we really appreciate
You're
seeing
welcome.
you every year, and hopefully you come back and get some more friends, and you can actually buy a whole table, 8 to 10 at a table or 12, and next year it's around the same time, around May time frame, and we'll see you back again.
Okay.
Okay.
right,
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
We're here with Fran Wiggin at the Firemen's Ball, and Fran, it's so nice to see you here again. How many years have you been coming to the ball?
I've been coming 63 years.
How many years?
63.
63 years, and every time I come to the Firemen's Ball, I just remember Chief Wiggin. He hired me back in 1989, and I think everybody that's here always has him on the back of our minds.
Yes, it was a little hard for me to come tonight, but he would have wanted me to be here. He loved the ball.
I know he did.
His dad we used to have a grand march at the Carousel Ballroom, and his father always led the grand march for years.
Well, Chief Wiggin, Scott Wiggin was talking today about the Carousel Ball.
Yeah, that's where it was.
How many years was that?
Oh, it was a lot of years. I don't know. We went from there to the school.
The McKelvey School.
Yeah, and then to here.
Yeah, and the transition has been, unfortunately, we're starting to lose lesser amount of people that come to the ball. So what would you say to the residents of Bedford to get them to come out here? I think it's a good time.
Oh, I think it's a wonderful way to support the fire department and have a great time. It's really a wonderful evening.
Yes, well, it's so nice to see you, and hopefully we'll see you again next year.
All right, I'll try.
Okay. We're here with Paul, interviewing more people that are having a great time at the ball. Paul, how long have you been coming here?
This is my 3rd year, Kevin.
3rd year? And how did you find out about coming to the Firemen's Ball?
My good friend Tom Green.
Took you, and what we're trying to find out is why our numbers are dwindling, and we really haven't narrowed it down yet. So what would you say to anyone else watching this show, what the ball is all about?
Right. Well, I'd say it's a great excuse to get dressed up, go out, have a great time, support a fantastic cause, and fantastic camaraderie. I mean, you guys are out there every day putting it on the line for us, and we can at least come out here and have a good time for you and hopefully share and make things be good for you guys, you know?
Well, I appreciate it. So it's safe to say that your ticket price right now is $45 a person, and you get a good meal. music, dancing.
Yep.
You can buy a table for 8 to 10 or 12 people.
Exactly.
Make it a work thing or a family thing. One of the tables that are making all the noise over there
Right.
is 6 or 7 ladies from Hesser College.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
everybody loves a fireman, so this is probably a
Exactly.
good place to be.
Exactly.
All right.
And I think the other thing too is that there's a wide variety of groups here in terms of age. Lots and lots of fun. So I wouldn't let it hold you back. It's not a stodgy affair. It's a really fun time. The one thing I will say is that a lot of people don't know about it. There's not enough publicity, not enough advertisement. So I think that would go a long way. If you can go in and actually just sort of pump up the volume, get the word out a little bit more, so maybe a firefighter escort plane with smoke going up,
Well,
something.
That's what we're trying to do right here. So this is your chance to promote it, and hopefully next year we'll get the numbers. We can hold up to 250
There you go.
that are here, and we'd like to see more. But thanks
There
for
you go.
coming, and we appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Okay. So here we are at the Firemen's Ball. As you can see behind me, we finally got the camera turned to what's really happening here. So if you're considering coming out for a night on the town right here in Bedford at the Manchester Country Club, you can purchase tables of 8, 10, or 12. Make it a work thing, or make it a family thing, or get your brothers and sisters to come on out. As you can see, it's not just firemen here, but it definitely goes to the Bedford Fire Department. So hope to see you next year, sometime around May timeframe. Look in the bulletin, look on BCTV, and you can call the Bedford Fire Department at 603-472-3219 and ask for Captain Murray. We'll tell you all about the ball. See you next year. Well, that concludes today's show, and we want to thank you for joining us. We hope you learned a little bit more about the Bedford Fire Department, the Honor Guard, the Granite State Fire Service Support Team, and the Firefighters Association. And we hope to see you at one of the Firemen's Ball. This is Captain Kevin Murray for Captain's Corner, and we'll see you again.